are you doing tonight?
Great.
Manchester, New Hampshire is not a place most people have heard of. Perhaps you may know it as the first state in the country to hold a presidential primary. Or you may know it as the second in the nation for the most opioid-related deaths a year, or number one in the nation for the most fentanyl-related deaths a year. Or you may know it as the state that has the minority population of 1.8% of Black Americans and the fourth highest population of the majority white population. Well, this is where I was born and raised. I was raised by a single mother and lived with my 3 siblings. We faced crucial financial instability and were homeless twice. We would move from neighborhood to neighborhood every couple of months. I met some kids in my neighborhood. These were my friends, not a gang to us, but friends. We all shared the same unstable living status. We started off skipping school, smoking marijuana, and stealing bikes. In such a desperate city of hopelessness, with unkept, broken down apartment buildings, prostitutes stroke openly without shame down Union Street, or dope fiends laying on the sidewalk, nodding off from the last hit of whatever the drug of choice. We would skip school to avoid the police, and whenever school let out, we were at the YMCA, sneaking in through the back because we were kicked out for fighting. We all had similar problems, and misery needs company. Over time, I faced many hardships, but the shared notable experience is when I was abused by my stepfather to the point the court deemed my living situation unsafe. I was sent to countless placements and group homes, and eventually was sent to live with my aunt in Maryland. To keep it simple, I hated life in Maryland. I was addicted to the vicious cycle, the street life. I absconded at age 13 and took a train back to New Hampshire. Manchester's crime and drug problems seemed to get worse when I was gone. What does that mean to me, you may wonder? I'm here probably today because of what I have experienced, because of what I am in this country, a Black man. So I've told you about the stuff that I did do, but what about what I did not do? You've all heard the term guilty by association, I'm sure. Well, at the age 13, I was arrested, locked up for 3 weeks, all because of people that I know. Not that I was with, but whom I know. Oh, and it was for a violent crime, a stabbing. And you've all watched police lineups on television, I'm sure. I was in one. I was not picked out of the lineup. So you'd expect me to be released, right? But I was not released. After 3 weeks of incarceration, I was released and the case was dropped because they found the suspect. The point here is that 3 weeks of my life were stolen from me, having to wear shackles in the courtroom in front of my mother, locked in the most secure unit of the detention center, and I was completely innocent. Although I was innocent of that crime, I was no saint. And in my young mind, the system had cost me, and I would give them hell for it. As I aged through my teenage years, the acts of recklessness that me and my friends committed every day worsened. At the age 15, we have all been in and out of lockup and placement plenty of times and been involved in violent scenarios in the streets of Manchester, finding any means to make money and becoming more dangerous and impulsive the deeper we got. Fast forward to March 17, 2019. I'm dating this girl for say a year, and after one of my releases from juvie, I had found out she had an affair with a member of a rival gang. So we broke up and they got together, and for a lousy $500, she gave them my location to set me up. So while walking with my 13-year-old sister, I was approached by 8 members of a rival gang and stabbed in the back. I know you're all thinking of the metaphor stabbed in the back, right? Well, this was both metaphorically and literally. 3 months later, she attempted to set me up again, perhaps to finish the job this time. But I was well aware of the situation at hand. I came prepared, and instead of being stabbed, I stabbed 7 times. Without getting into too much detail, I would say that in an act of self-defense, I stabbed another juvenile 7 times. Intense, right? At the age of 15, I had been stabbed, and now I had stabbed someone 7 times. Where was my life headed after that, you ask? How am I here a free man today? After being on the run for 2 months in Maryland, I returned to New Hampshire and turned myself into authorities. They charged me as an adult for first-degree assault and a stem of 2 charges from separate incidences. I was then 16 years old, facing 7.5 to 15 years in prison. Is this what I want my life to be? Spending the majority of my young life in a prison cell? Getting out of my 30s for something I did when I was 15? Thoughts like this, among others, all came to mind during those long days behind those walls. How could I change? How could I do better? I found that I'd be earning my high school diploma while locked up, so I thought to myself, since I earned it when I didn't expect to, what can I do with it? I gained a strong interest to further my education after reading many books such as the author Donald Goins and books about wrongfully incarcerated people such as Just Mercy. I also started exploring many of my interests, one of which was human services and the other meteorology. My mother tells me I wanted to be a weatherman when I was 5. I know what you're thinking. What do those have to do with each other? Well, I started to wonder what a career in those fields would be like if I were to be free. I could help all the other little black children that need guidance to see there's more opportunity than what is presented to them every day. Or if I was a meteorologist on Channel 5 doing the weather for a major broadcasting service. When SAT time came around, I didn't think anything of it. I didn't even know what SAT stood for. The day before my test, I got into a fight and was sent to CSU, the Crisis Service Unit, also known as solitary confinement. I was brought my test by my counselor, who I'm very thankful for to this day for all her efforts in my success. I completed the test in a couple hours, struggling and hitting every second of it, but also loving it because there's nothing else to do but stare at the walls around me. After the test, my counselor and me had checked off some random colleges we had discussed to set my SAT scores, one of which was Howard Community College in Columbia, Maryland. I knew that when I was released, I would be leaving New Hampshire for good and moving back with my aunt in Maryland. I later applied to HCC with my counselor, which took tremendous efforts of approval due to my legal status. When my mother told me I had gotten an acceptance letter to her house, I didn't believe her until she brought the letter in at visits. It took me a long time to realize what I had accomplished, and sometimes I still don't understand. I had just did 2 years in juvenile detention for a serious crime, but somehow managed to maneuver my future on the outside free world. The court acknowledged my success and granted me a plea deal of adult probation and suspended sentence. I will be released on my 18th birthday, which is August 17th. And for those of you that may not remember, the fall semester starts mid-August, so I gotta get moving. I started college in August 2021 at Howard Community College, 2 weeks after being released from a 2-year juvenile sentence. Oh, and I ran cross country for HCC. I placed in 2 8Ks and 2 5Ks in the Mid-Atlantic Regionals. So did juvenile detention help me become a better person? Did it make me realize that wasn't the life I wanted to live? Or did I always have it in me? I don't know the answer to these questions, but I do know that I put my all into getting where I am today, and I won't stop. I just finished my 2nd semester this spring at Howard Community College. My 1st semester in the fall was a little rough. I took 4 classes, passed 3 and failed 1. Don't tell anybody. But seriously, I started college 11 days after I got out of a 2-year sentence, so I'm reminded not to be so hard on myself. I'm pursuing an associate's degree in human services, and I plan to further my education, pursuing a bachelor's in meteorology at either Purdue University or Jackson State University. My achievements so far represent my own hard work. They also represent the people who believe in me and young black youth. My aunt has faith enough in me to give me a safe place to live. My counselor puts me through walls of red tape to help me get registered for school and signed up for financial aid. My mentor, Mr. Troy Grant, who's here with us tonight, not only encourages me, but models for me how to help other young people. I don't know where the road will take me, but I'm happy to share this part of my journey with you all tonight. My name is D'Montae Vilgrain, and I hope the next time you see me, my rainy days will be in my distant past, and I'll be on the Weather Channel forecasting sunny days with low humidity.
How do you get up?
Thank you.